Hey, it's live. It's it's Ray Tatter, and you are watching LiveWire. It's live on the air, and we just got a call from someone, and it says, start the show. And I will, right after this important message. So it's called the Northern California Filmmakers Coalition, and it's an organization, a service organization. I guess it's a participatory one that helps all kinds of filmmakers, including some documentarians, who I have a bunch of them here, and they're doing a wonderful documentary of a cultural happening that happened in the 60s. It was called surf music, right?
That's right, surf music.
Surf music. And I remember when it kicked in, I was there. I was riding my surfboard and loved it. Loved all of the aspects of that wonderful music, and you could dance to it. That's for sure. And
oh yeah,
it's really rock out. So with me, Gary Bell, you're a producer.
I'm a producer, and I'm one of the co-founders of the Northern California Filmmakers Coalition, along with my partner in crime, Patricia Lamar. She's also a co-founder.
And who's that guy down there?
This is Brad Pitt. No, I mean
Brad Pitt. Oh, I loved all your films.
Yeah. Well, without my mustache, much closer.
Right. No, Dave Ridgway. He's one of our producers, as well as our director of photography, editor, jack of all trades.
Oh, editor. You're the real, that's where the rubber hits the road, right? In the edit chamber.
That's right. You know, there's always three stories.
Oh, man.
There's a writer's story, there's a director's story, then there's the finished product, which is the editor's story.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly
so you got to treat your editor right, otherwise you don't get the right story.
Absolutely. Yes.
See, these filmmakers know what they're talking about. And so you were walking down the street one day, all three of you, and said, let's do a film about an unknown band called the New Dimensions. But they weren't unknown, because I knew who their work.
You knew who they were. Right.
Sure, absolutely. And you know, surf music, it's still alive. I have some nieces in Southern California. They live in Fullerton, and they have a big band, all women band, and they write their own music. Every woman writes her own music, and one of them writes surf music. It's that same tone and same rhythm.
You know, we discovered there's over 100 surf bands in Europe right now, Japan as well. So it really is a resurgence of surf music and surf culture happening around us all the time.
Well, Gary, the thing that you were doing is capturing a moment in time in history, which is really the idea of documentaries. It gives us the real essence of the music and the time.
Yes. Although keeping in mind that over time, it's changed.
Yes.
People will put their own take on what surf music is to them. So you might hear different tones. It's not always like the old days, but and I think that's a good thing.
So Pat, we were talking before the show about how you developed this documentary. It's actually a documentary, but it has dramatic pieces that you put in, which are created, with actors.
Correct. So what we did was, in one particular scene, we had the New Dimensions.
The real New Dimensions
as children or teens.
Yeah. So you created them as teens.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And so we had male actors that we procured from the local area to portray the New Dimensions as teens, big garage band. And so we really converted downtown Sacramento, East Sacramento, into the 1960s with the help of the Sacramento Automobile.
Oh yes, absolutely. Automobile
organization. Yeah,
it can happen.
They lent us their cars from that time period, and we
blocked off a street and turned it into the 60s.
So that was fun.
I once did a play on Cesar Chavez, and so I needed some old cars from the 40s, and they showed up.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Very
so,
generous.
So, and that's good. And that's kind of what the Northern California filmmakers do. They actually help filmmakers get access to these kinds of things.
Well,
That
our
correct?
vision is to make Sacramento a hub for filmmakers in Northern California.
Well, it is, isn't
And-
it?
yeah, right.
It's-
We want it to be
it's
Hollywood
getting
North,
there.
right?
It's getting-
Hollywood
it's
North,
getting
right?
Right.
Yeah, it ain't Hollywood. There is no Hollywood that does all the films now. It's
That's right.
it's all over the
It's
United
all
States.
over the place and in Canada, and it's they go where the money breaks are, the tax breaks. But we believe Sacramento can be that place as well. And we also want to give filmmakers the opportunity to rub elbows with industry professionals,
Sure.
To talk and to network and to create movies and get excited about this wonderful craft of filmmaking.
Oh, it's such a hard craft. I am. It's wonderful. It's hard to do, especially you're coming down to edits and you're really choosing to cut off some information. As an actor in Hollywood, I have so many scenes that I did
Still on the floor?
On the floor. I remember working a whole day on one bit, and then going to see the film after it was cut. Wasn't there, and I thought I did great.
Probably
Of
did,
course.
but it's time constraints a lot
And
of
there
times.
used to be a kind of axiom about filmmaking that you shoot 10 hours for 1 hour.
Yeah, well, a lot of
But I don't
times-
think documentary makers do that anymore. No. Put that in there, I shot it.
But we've been having fun while doing this documentary.
So tell,
It's-
okay, well,
it's been a
let's
lot
go
of
to
fun.
the topic. Besides, also, you have an opportunity for some people. If you're listening, folks out there in television land, you too can be on this documentary that these people are making. And we'll get to that in a minute. Tell me, about the New Dimensions and why you chose them. Why are they emblematic of a time and place?
It's more of a question of why they chose us.
Yes.
Oh, they did
Same thing. Yes, they chose us.
We are at the time a very much grassroots organization, nonprofit filmmaking group, and they saw our website and contacted us basically.
Oh, this is good.
Yeah, and so we get the call and we're like, "You sure you got the right number?"
Yeah, right.
But all kidding aside,
Sweet.
yeah. The next thing you know, we're in Beverly Hills, sitting in Gloria Swanson's mansion, talking to these guys.
Gloria
And-
Swanson.
That's right.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, two of the New Dimensions turned out to be rock and roll legends. One was Jimmy Greenspoon, who was co-founder of Three Dog Night.
Yes.
And then the other is Michael Lloyd, and he's Barry Manilow's producer. He produces the Beach Boys. He produced the Monkees. He produced the Dirty Dancing movie and wrote most of the music. And I mean, he's a who's who of record producers. And
sure.
Yeah. So it was a very surreal experience for us.
I remember the Monkees quite well.
You're right. Hey.
I worked. I won a internship with the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, and they sent me to Columbia and Screen Gems, and I worked on I Dream of Jeannie.
Oh.
You met
The
Barbara
Flying
Eden?
Nun. Oh, sure. Flying
Sally
Nun.
Fields?
Flying Nun, and a couple of movies.
Great.
And in doing so, I passed by this large building, and it said, "The Monkees." And they just walked out and said, "Hi, how you doing? What's up?"
Well, Michael Lloyd just happened to mention to us the other day that Mickey Dolenz is still a good friend of his, and he was just over at his house for dinner, a couple nights before that. So they're thick as thieves.
Do some of those soul bands still play? I don't really know if I've.
I think some of them do.
They
yeah.
still have reunions every now and then. And of course, the Beach Boys are always playing still.
Yeah.
They're still
Yeah.
going strong, and
Those are iconic groups.
yeah.
So, all right. So you did your research and you started shooting. I like it.
Oh yeah, we've been shooting
So-
for a couple of years now.
The threat on this piece.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, great. So, what do you want from people who want to be an extra? What do you want them to do?
Well, one of the closing scenes.
Clothing.
Yeah,
In the clothing scene.
Yeah, we're not doing the clothing scene anymore.
Yeah.
We're doing the closing scene.
Okay.
Well, let's back up to the opening scene, right?
Okay.
We see these young guys we cast as the New Dimension. They're 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
They're converging on a house. And this house is where they're going to rehearse, this garage, right? So they go into this garage. The door comes up. you see the instruments, they go inside, door closes. At the end of the film, the garage door opens, and you see the real New Dimensions, as they are today, step out, right?
Wow.
And then they step out onto stage. So the first shot was at Miners Leap,
Yeah.
right? So you're going to see them on the stage at Miners Leap doing concert, and then we're going to cut to this next shot, which is going to be at Harlow's. We're going to shoot that at Harlow's January the 8th of 2019.
Folks can go to
Yes.
it. So how do they find out about this? We probably have a slide that'll come up while I'm talking about how they find out about it, but it'll be at Harlow's. How do you want them to dress?
Casual, nightclub casual. So
Yeah,
that's
there it
gonna-
is,
there it
Tuesday,
is.
January 8th.
That's right.
Okay, and check-in time's at 11 a.m.
Right.
And remember, it's filmmaking. You could be there until 11 p.m.
Well, no.
No, not quite. No.
You don't have
Hopefully.
enough film?
No, it's all digital.
Oh, digital, I forget. Oh, yeah. And you don't edit like this with a Scully.
Right?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. And there is no actual film on the cutting room floor. So,
Right, there is no cutting room floor.
right? It's all pixels disintegrating
I
somewhere.
like it. So, okay, so and people can then take part in this.
Right.
this-
Yeah, we're
The
looking
more the
for,
merrier.
to fill the audience with people that want to have fun, listen to some fantastic music. So the New Dimensions have actually gone back in and started a new album, and they've got, 7 or 8 songs on their album done.
Wow.
We've picked 3 of the songs we like the best, and they're going to basically be doing like a music video.
So we have some slides that you brought. Let's have a look at what those are. I don't know what they are. Do you know what they are? Shake your head. No.
No.
No, we don't know. They don't know. Oh,
Was that your last
Oh, there we go.
vacation, Pat? No.
what's that?
Yeah,
Oh, that's Miners Leap. That was the outdoor event.
That was this past June.
Just yeah.
Okay, I
that's-
get it.
When I mentioned they stepped out on stage, this is where they step out on.
Oh,
And so this is the New Dimensions playing at an outdoor gig
wow.
to a cast of thousands.
Well, if you served lunch, they would have been there.
Well, and the extras that came that day had a fantastic time.
Sure, they
And-
did some great music.
Yeah, and they had some great music. And Michael Lloyd is a bit of a showman, so in between camera setups, he's entertaining the crowd, and he'll start playing a Beach Boys song or something. Just yeah,
Right. He's
And
he's
he
pretty
loves
much 80% ham.
yeah.
Nothing
No,
kosher
I mean,
here.
that's what it takes
Right.
to keep that energy
Right.
flowing
Oh
in the
yeah.
air.
Oh, yeah,
And we
he's-
mixed
he's
it
a-
up a little bit. So in between takes, we had different variety entertainment going on. We had a comedian.
Yeah.
We had surf belly dancers. We
Oh,
had
yes.
just different things to keep the audience
Exactly.
energy going. It
Somebody
was
taught the
live.
audience how to do
Did
the
you come out
stomp.
and do the belly
Right.
dance with them?
I did, yeah. I was front and center, and everybody went home after that.
He knows how to clear a room.
Belly
Belly
dancing
dancer.
lessons.
Yeah,
Yes.
not to them.
1995, including.
We taught the audience the surfer stomp
Yeah.
during the.
This is good.
Oh yeah, it was fun.
So we know how
Surfer's
have a
Comp.
good time. So it's just not a working film shoot kind of thing. It's like, we can't give you tons of money, but we're gonna, make sure you have a good time. So
Yeah, this is absolutely
And film
right.
credit.
So that's a good thing, and it's fun to be in a film and actually
Yeah.
see your head
and you get your name
popping
in the
out of the
credits.
crowd.
You have the squeakiest chairs on television.
How did you know that?
That was my back.
Mine's not squeaking.
Right? Maybe it's me. I don't know. I'm getting old.
No, I know that. That one squeaks. That's why I put it over there.
Blame it on you, Gary.
So good. I think it's fun, and ultimately, where will I be able to see this? As we only have one more minute.
Okay.
Where can I see the film when
Film
it's done?
when it's done, we're going to have
Your
a
premiere-
Sacramento screening because again, we're trying to make Sacramento a hub, right, for filmmakers. Put it on the map. Let people see that yes, good filmmaking, great filmmaking occurs in Sacramento. So there will be a Sacramento filming.
And if all goes well, we should finish up in probably the fall of 2019.
Thank you, Gary.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Pat.
You are welcome.
Thank
Okay,
you.
we're going to take a short pause for the cause here with a public service announcement, and we'll be back right after this very important message. And we're going to go live to a location, not here in the studio, out there in the world. We're going to go to Assemblyman McCarty's 4th annual reception and toy drive right after this message.
That was fun.
My grandfather served in World War II. Spending time with him were the best memories of my life. I became a physician at VA because of my grandfather, so I can help others like him. I can't imagine working with better doctors or a more dedicated staff. I'm fulfilling my life's mission with the help of my team and thanks to these veterans. I'm proud to be a doctor at VA and proud to honor my grandfather every day. Search VA Careers to find out more.
Who wants to hear a story?
Once upon a time, there were three Billy Goats.
The tiniest Billy Goat tripping over my bridge. It is I, the biggest Billy Goat from.
And the Billy Goat was so heavy that the bridge creaked and over this bridge they had to cross.
And they were ugly scissors, nose as long as a fire poker. And he had the biggest.
Around the troll, it's only I.
Trick, trap, scream.
And choke and poke.
Christopher Hillside.
Come on.
Continued up to the hillside.
I thank you.
What if you could invest in the future? The future of kids, like a stock. Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow. My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
Welcome back to LiveWire. We are going to go live to the Julia Morgan House, and our field reporter, Gary Martin, is with Assemblyman McCarty at his 4th annual toy drive. You can actually go to this place if you look up the Julia Morgan House before 8 o'clock and give toys. So stay tuned. You're going to meet with Assemblyman McCarty and Genevieve Levy, who is the Director of Services for Family Services for the Sacramento Food Bank. Wow! Stay tuned right after this.
Access Sacramento truly is delighted to be a sponsor again this year of the 4th annual Toy Drive and Reception hosted by Assemblyman Kevin McCarty out of District 7. And it is a delight for me to be here at the Julia Morgan House, where once again we are able to welcome Assemblyman McCarty to our broadcast on LiveWire. First, happy holidays and congratulations on another successful year out of the district.
Well, thank you. It's certainly a pleasure to serve the people of Assembly District 7, my hometown here in Sacramento and West Sacramento. But just want to also thank Access Sacramento and LiveWire. You know, people can communicate and get information in all sorts of ways. And so I think this is a great service to have really community TV talking about community issues. And that's what we're here about today. This is a reception where I welcome my constituents, whether they're just a voter who heard about the event or someone who's a partner in our community efforts to come together and celebrate the holiday season. We also have a toy drive, getting toys for families in need and help out our local Sacramento Food Bank and Family Services, a great local partner here. So happy holidays. It's great to be here once again.
And it's not too late, of course, for people to come down, open until 8:30 tonight, 8 o'clock tonight?
Yes, we're here at 8 o'clock. We're over here on T Street at the famous Julia Morgan House. Of course, I think this is the most historic house in Sacramento. Some would say the Governor's Mansion and the Joan Didion Mansion, but this was a marquee architectural endeavor about 100 years ago. So it's worth checking out.
And of course, the picture behind us is Julia Morgan, the designer of this particular house, and it was owned originally by the Gaedys, and of course the Gaedy family in Sacramento has huge history as well. But the history for us in the last year, we always get an opportunity, Kevin, to talk about your accomplishments in the Assembly. Tell us about some of the things you're most proud of for 2018.
Yeah, well, this is a beautiful house, and we have a lot of beautiful houses in Sacramento, but one of the issues we're focusing with is a lot of families don't have a house, don't have, a roof over their head. So we've been tackling the affordable housing issue, frankly, the housing affordability issue with homelessness to renters to senior housing, student housing. And so we adopted a big package last year and actually went to the voters as well. And so we have, 4 major components that we'll be working on this year for housing. Other big issues for California are increasing access to education from preschool all the way through higher education. We had some success last year with the budget, and I have the pleasure of chairing the budget committee overseeing education funding. Healthcare, environmental protection, those are some ongoing issues we made progress with, but there's always more work to be done, and we're excited. We have a new governor coming to town in a few weeks, and we're ready to get to work with the new governor and the rest of the legislature to tackle issues that impact everyday Californians.
Last year, we talked about some of the health education kinds of issues that you had on tap. Is that one of the areas that you're probably most proud of then yourself?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I worked on last year was education as a whole, but focusing on early education. And this year, we're going to go all the way. There are probably about 10 states in the nation that do pre-K for all, universal preschool access for 3- and 4-year-olds. California leads the way in so many issues, but this one, we're far behind. And we all know the research shows that if you want a kid to do well in life, get a good job, do well in school, stay out of the juvenile justice system, and early education is the best place to start. So I'm working on a pre-K for all package I just unveiled here in California, and I'm working already with the governor-elect and hope to make that a reality in 2019.
One of the most important news stories that's really come out in the most recent part of this year is, of course, the fires in Northern California. What is kind of the update on what's happening in that area at this point?
Well, it's just an incredible tragedy, and reading the stories about the loss of life and, people who are seniors and disabled and poverty are the ones who really, took the hardest hit and frankly lost their lives. And the loss is in the billions of dollars and economic loss, but just the loss of human life. And they lost 20,000 homes there in the area. I mean, they have, in the last 10 years, they built 20,000 homes in the area. So this impacts our housing crisis as well. But, the issues that we need to focus on, not just the immediate crisis and helping families in need, is, what are our California plans going forward? We have, climate change is a reality. The fire dangers have never been greater. And so we need to think about what California can do to protect those areas, but have good public policy in place to hopefully prevent them in the future.
Well, I appreciate the advanced look into the 2019 year, and I know it's exciting for you, obviously, to work with another Democratic governor. We wish you the very best in 2019.
Thank you. Great to see you.
We're going to continue this conversation here on LiveWire, though. Thank you, Kevin McCarty, for joining us, because this toy drive at the Julia Morgan House on T Street in Sacramento is supported in part and benefits the Sacramento Food Bank and Family Services. And we're joined one last time by Genevieve Levy, who is the Family Services side of the house for the food bank in Sacramento. So tell me, what does an event like this mean for your business?
Yeah, this is an amazing event. We're so happy to be partners in the neighborhood, and Assemblymember McCarty has always been a really big supporter of ours. This event, particularly the presence, will come back to our organization, and we already have events lined up on Friday and next week for ongoing participants of our program. So parents that have been coming to parenting classes, adults going to our English classes, we're going to be able to give one to kind of every parent for their child to be able to take home.
And so obviously this is a great time of year for donations for the Sacramento Food Bank and Family Services, but it's really a problem all year round, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of those things you kind of wish people would think about us or go into their pantry and grab those couple extra counts in July. Like what a warehouse at a food bank looks like this time of the year versus what it looks like in June and July when the same number of people are hungry, kids are home from school. It's really astonishing to see the difference.
I just spoke with Assemblyman McCarty about the fires in Northern California, and I know a lot of people have been donating. Is there a trickle-down effect here for Sacramento?
A little bit. So what ends up happening, unfortunately, is that goods, items like clothing and blankets, kind of the affected areas get inundated and have too much. And so we've been contacted by some other organizations to say, can you use any of these supplies? And you know, if we are able to take some, we can. But it's one of those things where encouraging people to do their research and maybe look into another option to support rather than physical goods, because right now the area of the fires have enough stuff.
You know, not very many people really understand that the Sacramento Food Bank is a regional service, and it serves Sacramento, but it really is a much broader issue in terms of the amount of territory that you have to cover.
Yeah, so the full county, we're serving 157,000 men, women, and children monthly, and that number is staggering. But it's not just happening with my coworkers, you know, wearing our uniform. We work with 220 other partner agencies that get food out into the community, and again, that's throughout the county. They'll get food from us and then take it back to their community and give it out directly.
Genevieve, we certainly appreciate all the good work that the Food Bank and Family Services does in Sacramento, and thank you for being here with LiveWire. Of course, Access Sacramento is one of the sponsors of the Toy Drive and Reception that's here at the Julia Morgan House on 46 on T Street, about 40th Street near Stockton Boulevard. We thank Assemblyman McCarty and the food banks for being on the program, and we'll send it on back to you, Ray.
Thanks, Gary. Whoa, we're back. Assemblyman McCarty's 4th annual holiday reception and toy drive. Don't miss it. You can still get there by 8 o'clock with a nice toy. I'm not sure it has to be wrapped or not, but you can show up at the Julia Morgan House. That's at 3731 T Street. It's a very interesting and historic place to be, and you would be doing a good thing for Assembly McCarty's toy drive. Yes, I'm Ray Tedder, and I bet you're wondering why I have a statue of this little guy right here. What? Oh, he's told me that he has a friend that's going to come here next week, and there'll be gifts and kids and all kinds of people, and even me. And I get to wear, as many people have asked, a funny hat. How's that? All right, bye. We'll see you next week on LiveWire.